Hello, folks. Welcome to my corner of the internet. Thanks for joining us for our first. What is it? It's not our first session from Tales from the Loop, but it's our first RPG session. First
adventure.
Adventure, our mystery.
It's session 1, isn't it?
It is session 1. We had session 0 last week, and now is session 1. Joining me, we have Grey Lamb, who is also our computer geek known as Preston.
Hello. That's me.
And then we have Martin, who will be Butch the Hick.
Hello.
And Expert, who will be Christian the Weirdo.
Classic.
Yeah.
Christian the Weirdo. I like it. So how's everybody been since last week? Before we dive in, let's just take a minute to kind of get into
sit
the right...
there.
Yeah, just take a minute. Just sit right there. Tell us how you became an RP... Player,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. How's everybody doing? What's anything exciting that you want to share?
Yes, I suppose so. RPG related. Chris and I have ended our. I think we worked out a 35-week D&D campaign on Wednesday.
Wow.
We've been running it since pre-lockdown. I think it was pre-lockdown.
I think it was just pre-lockdown.
But yeah, with our DM and our D&D game is finally over. It was quite emotional at the end. Like Chris's character got to walk off to home with his brothers and like quest over, and I wandered off into the unknown territory of discovering like this arcane secrets. That was really good. So
is this one of those like massive homebrew wonderful things where?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Dom, who used to work at the cafe, the DM.
Right, cool.
He's been running it for a while, and it was our final send off. So it's actually nice to actually end a campaign, because so many campaigns I've played in just drop off or dissipate or whatever. But to have that final conclusive, this is the end. It was.
So this is my theory about the way some people always make the same kind of character. Like you always get like I'm the lone wolf from the barbarian wildlands, and I'm the barbarian of the wolf totem, and I'm the wizard with the druid who only you get that kind of person. Part of me thinks it's because you never finish a campaign with them. And so
you always want that character to have its ending.
And you never get the closure. You don't know how that adventure ends, so you just automatically go back to making that same, like, I'm terrible, I always make this moody paladin who's grumpy about something and doesn't get to the, because then I end up GMing a game and I never get to go to the, it's fine. But I always make a grumpy paladin who is never completed, so I always make another grumpy hexblade paladin.
Even if I'm playing a lawful good paladin knight, I end up playing a rogue because I just can't help it. I always play the backstabbing.
Testing, Violet, can you hear us?
Let's do that. Maybe.
Was it when you changed Windows?
It might.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Is it both of them?
Oh yeah, I can hear it too. Yes, now.
Yeah, it's all good.
When you changed, it died.
Oh, maybe it's something in the stinger. Maybe it's something in the transition.
That was how my last relationship ended.
Something in the stinger.
He said, when you changed, it died.
See, I didn't change, and that's why it died.
So, Martin, you had anything up, or just in general? Would you like to share anything with the class? How's the week been?
Pretty all right, actually.
Cool.
Just doing some extra course stuff for work and things.
Oh, nice.
In terms of this game, the only thing that's really popped up is I think the algorithm listens to me, because Duran Duran has come up creeping a lot of the time.
Nice.
Like View to a Kill, I didn't realise was a Duran Duran song until...
Yeah, it's a great song.
But it only came up because I was watching a James Bond podcast, and there's suddenly Duran Duran's in this one, and it's very creepy how it's popped up to most videos I've watched recently.
is it called a Mandela effect, where
Yeah.
you
Remember
notice one thing and then it
Well-
pops up everywhere because you're kind of aware of it.
Yeah, something like that. Something fancy. Something like that. But that's spooky. I always comment on that. Or Wish starts promoting certain, like, everything to do with the thing, and it gets me. Cool. That's weird. But are we ready for more weird? Should we?
Yeah, let's
Shall we
go for it.
begin? So we have our 4 kids: Preston, the computer geek, Christian, the weirdo, Butch, the hick. And we wanted something that was towards the end of a school term, so maybe we've got a week or so left of school before a summer where Butch turns maybe 16, and that this is like, so the pressure is on to have the best couple of weeks ever before Butch has to kind of go on and be a grown up. So maybe in about 3 or 4 weeks time, that's when Butch is allowed to join the farmers union. Yeah. Yes.
Farmers Union.
Well, no, it's a very important thing, isn't it? You join the farmers union, now you've got your card, and part of what we know to be Butch's problem, but not everybody else knows, is his father's perhaps not able to take over over the farm, or run the farm in the way he wants, and the pressure is on for Butch to take over and go there, isn't it?
The family business.
The family business, yeah, from
The hick mafia.
the Lancashire farm mafia that we were talking about last week, yeah. So we are maybe 2 weeks towards the end of term. Couple of things are happening. We're gonna get to the end of term and have a bit of summer. Maybe there's gonna be a summer fete. Maybe that's large weapons in Martin's background. Are they LARP weapons you've got?
Yeah, they're all our weapons.
Yeah,
Hitting
he's
people.
always prepared.
Always prepared.
See, all I have in my background is a Mountie hat. It's, mount up.
I've got all the books that that Preston plays. It'd be probably AD&D second edition, right? That's all
Oh,
this-
100%, yeah.
Yeah. What have we got?
First edition purist.
Yeah. This is all. Yeah. Anyway, so we're about 2 weeks out from the end of school, and I think we start early on, maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday morning, to middle of the week kind of thing. Mundane scenes are sort of a large part of an ongoing Tales from the Loop campaign, and so we open. If it was like the TV show, we just shown the intro, and it opens up on that overshot of Lancashire, of the farmlands, people moving around it in floating tractors and whatever, and it kind of focuses in on Butch's farmhouse. How early in the morning does everybody at Casa del Butch get up?
I'll be like, I'll get up at 6, but I'm allowed an extra hour's sleep because I'm still under 16. Everybody else is already up at like 4 or 5, depending on what they're doing.
Oh, so you're like the last person out of bed, and you relish it.
Apart from great granddad, who is up at whatever he needs to be, really.
Because
but,
technically he's retired.
He's retired. He keeps getting told he's retired, but he refuses to actually accept he's retired.
Yeah.
I love that.
He's got
I love the idea that this is like a guy that's 10 times older than everyone else and still lifting more than everyone else. It's like, oh, you can't do it, I don't trust you.
Yeah. You can't trust these things to do them properly, says Grandpa. Was it Grandpa Frank?
Frank, yeah.
Great Grandpa Frank. You can't trust these things to do it properly. It takes a delicate hand of a real person. All right, so as we sort of scan over this, we come down into what I imagine would be quite a big kitchen. It's almost like the main office of the farm, if you will. Big cast iron, old, always on cooker kind of thing, and somebody will say to you, kind of Butch, like maybe your mum, who is stood at a counter, and you can see that there's loads of pill bottles, and then an open pill box where she's filling up some medicines into each one of the clipping things down, and she just gestures over towards the oven and goes, oh, there's still some porridge left, Butch, but you're pushing it a bit if you're going to get your chores done before school, sweetheart. Come on, move on. And she sort of does that kind of snappy fingers as she's...
Yep. I'm on the way. I'm away.
Yeah. At the dining room table or at the kitchen table, Grandad Frank is there slurping. I'm gonna guess like some incredibly sweet tea, like so sweet he could put a spoon in it and mix it and still stand up, kind of thing. And it must be like his lunchtime, so he's there with maybe 5 or 6 jammy dodgers, that kind of like biscuits everywhere, and he's talking to your dad. Now, what is your dad like in the morning? Is because he's not well. Do we see that? Is he good in the morning and it gets worse towards the day, or
he's sort of like, I would imagine he would have sort of like his own private coughing fit somewhere and then rear himself up and then try his best to not show that through to everybody else. And when he seems to excuse himself a lot more than he should be doing, where secretly he's going out somewhere and having a bad coughing fit somewhere outside in private.
Oh, okay, so that must be it then. So your great-granddad Frank is there, shoveling jammy dodgers in his face, adding more sugar as he's going. He pushes the sugar bowl over, and that's maybe where your dad comes in, from being outside for a moment, and he hangs his cap up and sits down. And Grandpa Frank, kind of used to this, sort of turns to your dad and goes, "Now listen, it's wrong. I know the subsidy is gonna be that much better in the meantime from the math, but these bot things, these little robots, we should be doing it by hand. Those kids down the road who started protesting, I'm gonna go join them." And you hear your mum just go, "Oh God," kind of thing. As there's obviously been this argument before between your dad and your grandpa, kind of thing.
Sort of like take the sugar and awkwardly put some in my porridge and stir it, just hoping them not to get in a big argument again and put the sugar back.
Yeah. So they continue bickering. Maybe like great grandpa Frank is obviously the old ways are important. We shouldn't forget that. Butch should pay attention to this. You know, it's a life lesson kind of thing. And your mum is just like, "There's some toast. Just, if I give him more food, he'll stop talking," kind of moment. And your dad is like, "Look, we took over the farm. You're retired. You've got your little thing in the corner of the yard. Go and grow whatever it is you've got in there. We'll keep the math away. Don't interrupt when the scientist comes this afternoon," kind of thing. And so with that, he sort of takes his cup of tea, this lukewarm cup of tea, and heads back out to the farm, making some sort of excuse like, "I'll have to see what one of the hands has done over at the bottom shed or the bottom barn or something," and leaves. And your mum kind of brings you a bag with a bagging box, a lunch box of probably too much food, because you have to feed farm folk lots, but you're going to school, so you don't. But too much food in a box. And she says, "Butch, if you could make sure you're home on time today. I know you sometimes like after school and whatever. I don't think Dad will. You might need a hand when the math come over. Is that all right, love?"
Yeah, I'll be back on time. Yeah.
Good. And she kind of pats you, probably gives you like 20p or whatever it would have been way back then. It's a fortune now. And how do you get to school? Do you drive the tractor halfway across a field, jump over a fence and walk? Do you walk down the lane and catch a bus?
No, I'd imagine I'd have like the tractor I've worked on, like my granddad's broken down tractor that I've fixed up for myself.
Those like quad bike ATVs that you can get for like herding sheep.
Oh yeah,
I reckon you'd have like one of those as like your little project. That would be cool.
Yeah.
A little magnetrine hovering quad bike kind of thing.
Yeah. But I'm not allowed to drive it on the road. I can only drive it in the farm. So I'll drive to the closest cobbled stone wall to where the school is, and then hop over the fence and the wall and head towards school from there.
I had literally had a friend who used to do that. That was what she would do. She'd drive the tractor to the wall, climb out, and get into school. That's true facts. So we kind of Do you do anything else on the farm? Is there anything else you want to check before you go, or are you ready to roll?
Yeah, I'd imagine I'd go out, do the hour or so of chores that I have to do in the morning, like check on the cows and chickens and all that kind of stuff, and make sure that all my sort of morning chores are done after I've scarfed down my porridge. And then once that's all done, quickly head over to my metal project, sling over my backpack over the back of it, and then head off towards school.
Cool. While you're making your trips around the farm, you're checking in on your bits and pieces to make sure your life's going to be easier across the day and stuff. You make an observation roll.
Yeah, of course I can. Just find my
first roll of the whole entire game. No pressure.
Observation come under investigation. Investigate.
Oh, is it? Am I in a different system? Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's. Yeah.
What's his passive perception?
Yeah, what's your passive perception?
There's investigate.
Yes.
Investigate, comprehend, empathize.
Yeah, investigate. Sorry, we're playing aliens then.
That's going to be interesting. My 2 dice.
Yeah.
Not very good at.
It's mind and investigate, isn't it? Have you only got one in mind?
I got 2 in mind.
But none in investigate.
None in investigate. Okay.
None in investigate. I got 2 3s.
2 3s. All right. So yeah, it's everything is. Nothing jumps out to you as beyond the ordinary.
Everything's okie dokie.
Yeah, of course it is.
As the cows have been devoured by aliens. All good.
So yeah, it's all cool. Everything's where you've left it. Everything's set up right. As you are walking around, you can see, like, I guess as you kind of come around one part of the house, and you can see onto the lane that goes down past the front of the farm. There are a couple of people down there, you know, like Grandpa Frank was talking about them. There are a couple of people, and you can see that they've got like placards, kind of thing, and it looks like they're sort of getting together. Only 3 or 4 of them. They're not chanting or waving their signs and stuff, but there's definitely some people being interested in whatever the math man and the scientist are coming to see this afternoon.
Granddad's off again. I'm just like hoping he's not going to cause an argument with my dad again, and just go ignore it, pretend it didn't happen, and then just keep going.
And just get through your chores.
Yeah, just get through my chores.
Jump on your hover bike.
Do granddad thing. He'd never caused that much trouble, so it'll be fine, I'm sure.
Yeah. Who do we see? Who's up after Butch? Like, because Butch would be the earliest person. I guess that given he's out on a farm, he would be the furthest person away. Who lives right near the school and who lives a little bit out? Like,
I have recently moved here, so I imagine my parents would have bought a house specifically with a school in mind.
All right, so they've got you as close to the school as possible.
Yeah, and also they're aware that I can imagine my parents as being quite aware that, like, you're new in a new area. We don't want you to walk very far. You want to be safe.
Okay.
And they're a bit like coddling, so they'll try and buy the which house can we see the school from?
Yeah, okay.
Watch him walk, exactly, because they know I'm a bit nerdy and prone to get bullied.
One street from your house to the school.
Yeah. And yeah, I'd probably be the last up because I'm still late, because I'm that way inclined. But yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So we sort of cut to Christian's house. What is it like in the mornings in Christian's house before school?
Very formal.
Yeah.
Like, with like a full set table.
Nice.
For breakfast, with like the silver out.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's gonna be like dressed and pressed. No homework at the table. That's all got to be done last night before 8 p.m. before bedtime. And then I think as well, we probably would have got up we'll probably like say grace and have like morning prayers around the table.
Okay, yeah. So I'm
just gonna try to amp up the ridiculous.
Amp up the level of
the hyper Christian.
Yeah.
You'd be sat there in silence, just like a prayer.
Yeah. And you can just hear there's like one of those tall grandfather clocks. Just that's all we can hear. It's going.
Yeah. Well, and the whole table is like a properly cooked, healthy breakfast, and none of you are touching it.
Long table, parent at either end.
Like
in sat in the middle.
Yeah.
In a straight thing, like your dad's in a suit, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Gregorian chant in the background. Yes, Tom Cadder.
Yeah, hymns. And does your dad or your mum, do they have like a reading for the day? Is that something that we've had? Today, Christian, whilst you go about your efforts, I would like you to consider Matthew 4:16 or whatever. 3:16. I missed a trick there, didn't I?
I think I'm gonna have to get like Bible up or something for these things.
Well, yeah, but the alternate loop Bible.
Matthew 4:16. The people living in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of the shadow of death, a light has dawned.
Wow, what
a hopeful day.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So is that something like your mum or your dad or somebody would say, want you to consider throughout the day?
I think that would probably be mum's job.
Okay. So your mum is the one who sort of leads the way forwards, kind of thing. So after this moment of silent prayer and reflection, I guess your father probably is the first person who then is like, amen, or continue.
Yeah.
Let's eat. Yeah. And
Amen.
you all dive into your food. Where do your parents? What do they do? Like, you don't have to say specifically, but is your mum like a traditional homemaker?
She's a homemaker. She's definitely a homemaker too.
She puts on the death metal once your dad goes to work. Yeah.
She's a homemaker, and she volunteers a lot at the church.
Yeah.
Like too much.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm not sure what Dad does. He very much dresses in a suit. He does not speak about work. Work is for work, and home is for home.
Okay, so he works somewhere, probably I would think involved in the loop, in the Rinsky Energy facility.
Yeah.
But not a scientist.
As far as I know, he works in business.
Okay, yeah.
He goes to business.
Business.
Yeah.
I like it. But he's not a scientist. So he has probably got like a briefcase and stuff by the door. He never brings the work home. That kind
He has
of
his
thing.
own study office that I'm not allowed in.
Oh, okay.
Locked door.
Locked door, hidden study, that kind of thing. All right, cool. So there's this kind of breakfast goes on. Do they wish you, aside from like, consider this psalm, this passage for the day, Christian? Do they have? Is it quite a cold family? Trying to just work them out.
It's icy. It's like we expect your grades to be top of the class, Christian. Oh, that maths exam this Friday. Best book in an extra 3 hours of revision the night before.
Okay.
Oh, Dad. Don't complain, Christian.
Yeah.
Or you'll have to say more prayers. I don't know, something like that.
7 Hail Marys, that kind of
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there.
Even though we're not Catholic, just
Yeah.
go say Hail Marys anyway.
Yeah.
Because whilst we're not Catholic, we like how authoritarian the Catholics are, so we also use that.
Yeah. Okay. So there's this a distinct sect of Christianity that your parents have opted into. Cool. So as you're sort of tidying up, finished breakfast, I'm assuming it's your role as the youngest person at the table to clean the table and get everything done. That's your chore or something.
I'm wondering if we have a maid,
Really nice. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. So you've got help. Your dad is that well kind of positioned in the loop that you have help. So yeah, I guess at about 8:30 or something around about then. That would be when the helpers arrive, because I don't think you would have a big enough. Would you have a big enough house for them to live in?
Probably not. No.
Yeah. So
no.
the help arrives like 8:30 till 5, or no, 8:30 till 7, because that would have time to serve food and that kind of stuff.
Long lunch break.
And that's what affords your mum the time to do, generous volunteering and patronage, good Christian work. Yeah. Okay. So what's the help called? Is it an old lady, a young gen, a foreign studies student? What are they?
It's a of sort of middle to southern Mediterranean background lady called Maria. We're not allowed to ask where exactly she's from.
Okay.
I'm not actually allowed to speak to her. She's not allowed to speak to us.
She just
Wow.
she's just she's the help.
All
right, so Maria arrives and she sort of good morning. Is it okay if I clean the table? Are you finished? And your father probably doesn't even acknowledge her, kind of thing. And your mum looks over and goes, yes, I think everybody's finished. Have you finished? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so your father picks up the newspaper or the Bible he's perhaps got next to him, puts it in his jacket pocket, puts his jacket on. The most sort of chaste, is that the right way to pronounce it? Chaste?
Chaste, yeah, chaste.
Yeah. Kind of hug. No sort of physical kind of kiss. It is merely an acknowledgement of, you are my wife.
Well, it's one of those air kisses.
Yeah.
Where it's still like 3 or 4 inches from the cheek.
Yeah.
Just like.
Yeah. And he leaves before everybody else. And I guess at the door he turns to you, Christian, and says, I will expect good grades on Friday, young man.
I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
And the door clicks as he leaves, and you hear the front door go. And your mum is probably saying to Maria, "Oh, look, if you keep the toast, I can take the toast to the shelter with me when I'm going to the church. Reverend Joyless, Father Joyless, will be most pleased that we've got some extras for the breakfast." And I think Maria probably catches your eyes and rolls them like kind of thing. And scoops the stuff up and leaves the room, leaving you with your mother. And she says, Christian, I'm really disappointed that you've been leaving food out for cats.
Oh, that is so my mum.
You know your father's opinion on them. They are miniature devils, young man.
But they're so cute. They just want food. They're so lovely. They really are.
I found 3 of them in the yard this morning.
Which ones were they? Not the ginger floppy eared one.
I don't care to remember them. I've already shooed them off. Please stop leaving food for the cats.
Okay, Mama. Okay.
And she gives you like a pat on the shoulder. And leaves you sat at like an empty table in this dining room where you can just hear the clock ticking. Are you all ready for school? Are you then just going to jump up and run?
Yeah, because I had my bag had to be packed by 8 p.m. last night as well, so that's just ready to. It's one of those one shoulder bags as well. That's like nearly a briefcase, but not quite.
Okay, yeah, like a satchel bag kind of.
Yeah, just
kind of thing.
All the kids at school love it.
Yeah, totes. And then. Preston, what's it like in your home?
So I am the absolute apple of my mother's eye. She completely and utterly dotes on me, and there is probably nothing I could do that wouldn't be explainable as, it's just exploring himself, or it's fine. He's such a lovely boy. You can't. So she absolutely adores me. So I sleep in late. To the very last moment I can, because I know that I can get away with it.
Does she actually bring you like toast in bed?
Yeah, and it's like cut into a little smiley face and like 2 eggs and like a smiley face bread, and I am adored completely.
Yeah.
And I will kind of leisurely eat breakfast, and then although my room is absolute chaos of just bits of mechanical machines and springs and tools and all sorts of nonsense, and just kind of hastily shove stuff in my bag for the day, books and whatever. And then I would, after Mum's like, "Oh, good morning, son, you okay?" kind of like, and I'm like, "Yeah, fine, Mum." And she's like, if I get egg on my face, she does that parent thing of wiping it with her thumb still, even though I'm like 13.
So do your parents, because you've come from Germany, haven't you?
Yeah.
Do they like, okay, folks, we're going to try and speak English to help Preston learn English, that kind of thing? So is it?
I would say that my mum is certainly speaks in that kind of mixed language. So she calls me her little Kinder and things like that, and uses like cutesy Germanic words when she's feeling like more homely. But she will try and speak English as much as possible.
Okay.
My image of my dad is that he has like done a lot of international work. That's why we've moved over here. So he's quite fluent. and only berates me in German.
Oh, right, okay. If you're wrong, it's in
Yeah.
German. All right,
Yeah.
nice. Because that's the best language ever for getting a scolding.
Yeah.
It's going to be the most harsh dressing down ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I kind of think that, like, although my mum is completely lovely, my dad, who's who's came across here because he's like an engineer,
Mhm.
is like a proper blue collar working welding engineer, and looks at me like a little nerd, and is like so disappointed.
Oh,
It's
like
I
you're
know.
one of the you're going to grow up to be one of those tech people
yeah,
who always tell him he needs extra stuff, or never considers
Yeah.
how strong the robotics need to be, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Never understands the
I
problem.
never gets my hands dirty, and he's already gone to work because he's out like before I get up in the morning.
Okay.
And he comes back, probably could come back earlier, but comes back after I've well gone to bed.
Okay. So he's out a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah, and he doesn't really appreciate some of my like love of computers and D&D and things like that. So
Yeah. So that's another thing. So do you have like all your D&D stuff out? Because it's an important thing to Preston, isn't it? It's all he's
I will
Varasad, the wanderer of the wastes. And
yes,
first
I will have the first edition D&D like rule book in my bag with full of post-it notes and things like that at all times. It's like always with me, and I'm always kind of flicking through it. And my mum will probably like compliment me on my great imagination and my storytelling, and always try and go, "Oh, isn't he clever?" to my dad, and my dad's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Okay. So it's quite a cute morning with your mum, but your dad, you know, there's that noticeable like empty space of your dad not being around, and
Yeah.
and other things. It's not quite complete kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like nothing I will ever do will be good enough, because I've chosen to be this like little slight nerdy kid, and he's like a rough and tumble proper hands-on engineer.
Okay, I like it.
I think he probably likes Butch more than me.
So yeah, as you're sort of packing up and getting together, your mum kind of says, Preston, I want you to have a good day at school, but tonight, will you be? I leave some food in the fridge. I've been asked to go to the church for a prayer meeting. Christian, what are your parents called? What's your mum called?
I hadn't thought about that.
Mary and Joseph.
Shall I just pick a name?
I mean, Angela and
I'm gonna go
Farah.
with something like
I'm trying to think
Ethel.
Ethel.
Ethel. All right.
Like something old and...
Ethel and Frank.
Okay.
Maybe your dad's Butch's granddad.
Oh, has he got Frank too?
Yeah, great
Yeah.
granddad Frank.
Oh, sorry. I'll pick another name.
Hank.
Hank.
No, it's not American.
Richard.
Yeah, well, we'll call it close to that though. No, we'll go Harold.
Harold and Ethel.
Harold and Ethel.
Okay. So she says Ethel has organised a prayer meeting and invited me. I don't know if you mind, but I will leave some food for you. You can
That's
come and meet me
fine.
at the church.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay walking back, and you're not going to be worried about getting back. I can just, yeah. Will Dad be here to pick me up, or will be on my own?
He says he'll be home, but if not, and she takes out like like a string
Yeah.
and a key. She like
I'll
bestows
hang
you
on,
the
yeah.
medallion of entry, kind of thing.
Okay.
But there will be some food you can have, and then there's also I've made some biscuits as well. You can also. I
Yeah,
won't
my
be too late.
my favorite kind, the gingerbread ones. Cool.
Mhm.
I'll be fine. I'll just play my games. I'll be good. Don't worry.
And she smiles like, no, that's good. Okay. And then she gives you a big kiss and a hug. Forgets
Probably
that
a bit
she's
too long, where you're like a bit
Yeah, like I forget that she's probably supposed to try and stay in English as much, and wishes you like a good day in German and all that kind of stuff. And walks you probably like 3/4 of the way to school until you maybe go like, just can you wait? No, I'm good. Wait here.
Yeah.
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 Can you,
Absolutely.
Can you make a No, what did we say? It was
investigate or comprehend.
Investigation roll.
So I have 5 in mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have 1 investigate, so I get to roll 6 dice.
Wow.
Ever so slightly better than Butch.
And hands are for working, not for looking.
So I rolled 1. Is it only 6s we care about?
Only 6s, yeah.
I rolled 1 6.
Okay, cool. So as you're walking to school, you notice on more window ledges than you would expect, especially for this time in the morning, like cats looking in people's houses. And it strikes you as specifically odd, because normally you've walked this route like 5 or 6 times, maybe. And like how long have you been in England? Like, is this a couple of months now, or?
I'd like to think it's long enough to feel settled, but not long enough to feel like it's home. You know, like 6 to 8 months sort of thing.
Okay, yeah. So you've definitely walked this. You've definitely walked this quite a few times now. The things that strike you as odd is there's probably about 8 or 9 of them, and they're all looking inside houses. They're not, you know, like cats like to sit on the outside and watch people. They're all looking into the houses.
That's odd. I will probably take out my journal and make a note of like
on your little Atari Go, your little portable computer
put like
thing.
9 Katze, like strange.
Yeah.
Like what? Because I'd like to think that I tend to be quite observant of the world around me and document
with that
strange
many dice,
occurrences and that kind of things. So yeah. Also, I'm acutely aware because of allergies.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah. So you do this. I'm imagining that we're not quite in Preston Central, like the big middle, because we've got to be within floating tractor distance for Butch.
Yeah,
so
it's got to be somewhere like sort of like Longridge or somewhere like that.
Yeah,
know,
so it's
a bit
one
farmy.
of those kind of schools that has really small number of classes, but it's one big thing kind of squudged together. So that's how we can get from like 11 to 15 in one place. So you're like, your math teacher will also be your science teacher, will also be your technology teacher, and your English teacher will also do religion and something, and a PE teacher is probably also the receptionist or something. That kind of school where
cool.
That kind of stuff. Unless you all go to different schools, which is not a drama or not a problem, but means it's harder for you to kind of meet up at the end of school or have moments.
No, I'd say we've got the same school, probably.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Okay. So we all sort of arrive at different portions of school, not like we do at the minute, where one class has to arrive at 10 to 6 and the other has to arrive at 6:30, and the other one has COVID bubbles.
Oh, right.
Yeah, COVID bubbles. Like actually a schoolyard full of kids, and it goes from like little kids who are being sort of smooched by mums and like, oh, I'm gonna miss you, and kids like meh, get off me, mum, to folks like Butch who are arriving by themselves, probably a minute or two, maybe not for Butch because he's up at the crack of dawn, but a minute or two late because they get there under their own steam, and there's just running in, and then none of this like lining up kind of thing, just
Have you seen those whales that feed and then there's little fish kind of follow behind? I imagine Butch watching this, and all the little kids who don't know where they're going just kind of follow him because he looks like an adult.
Yeah, and I know I joked last week about Butch having a beard, but what does Butch look like? What is he? What is this strapping young man?
It would be, I would imagine, decently tall, quite obviously fit due to the fact that he works on a farm every single day. Probably sort of like the beginnings of growing a beard, like sort of just like little whispers of blonde hair sort of coming through.
Oh, he's a blonde farm boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just sort of unkempt hair. Obviously, there's been some attempts to brush it in the morning, but it's the least priority really. So it's sort of just allowed to like flow.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of sort of like pulling it back because it's kind of gets in the way a lot of when I'm doing work. So once obviously I was finished doing the farm work, I can just like let it sort of flop about, and just sort of like not really paying much attention to most of the younger kids. So just like leisurely stroll in because I have to get up so early. The actual walk to school's a decent walk, but I've got plenty of time to get there. So it's like a casual walk, get to school and walk straight into the playground area, sort of like the open area grounds, and just like keeping like subconsciously or even like, actively like looking around, seeing if I can see Preston or Christian anywhere, and then just getting ready to go to my first class.
Yeah, so I guess you sort of spot who I think Preston would probably be the last, having all had to have and fend off all the extra cuddles and attention. Christian, like once you get to school, is it like t-shirt, shirt out of and tie undone and jacket inside out kind of thing, or?
No, I think that would sort of imply I've got some kind of understanding of what's cool. I think, you know, this is the way I've been dressed, and if I can keep dressed the exact same way with nothing going wrong the whole day, and when I get back home, I'm not going to get bollocking for you know, my shirt being out of place or my jacket having a scuff on it.
Okay, so yeah, I think, but you'd see maybe Christian sort of stood there with his not quite a briefcase.
With his great posture as well, very straight.
Yeah, very straight, very very there, on time. Whatever teacher is walking around, as they do in the schoolyard, sort of nods towards Christian in like a, "Are you okay?" sort of thing. You can so run.
Yeah, I look over at Christian and then I like look down and see that my tie is just not tied at all, and just realise I haven't tied it, and then get a reminder that I should tie this before I go into school.
Yeah. And then you probably see Preston sort of like quickly kind of, oh quick, I better get in before they start ringing the bell.
I'd be like one shoe untied, like I literally live across the road and I'm so late all the time because I'm just so like I'll be fine. Like bumbling in like.
So we have this moment in the schoolyard where if you want to get together and say hi, you're very welcome to, or if we want, we can just fast forward through the school day, because I've got some things that will happen during school, but not necessarily.
I'll probably say, obviously if I see them and catch up to them and say hi. But I imagine due to the time, we probably don't have much time to talk, and then we're off to different parts of the school for our home classes.
I imagine I'd kind of run past, because we'd be in different classes because we're all different ages. I'd run past them towards my form and I'd kind of look at them both and go, "Cats!" and then run inside.
Cats. Like proper Doc Brown moment.
Yeah. Because I'll have been, after noticing them, even if it was perfectly innocent, I'll have been playing all these scenarios in my head of like, what could it mean? Come to some kind of weird conclusion and just not be able to have time to share it.
Right.
I will not be able to get that out of my head the entire school.
And is this a normal thing for Preston? Like
100%. Yeah. Nearly every morning I'll come in with something like the milk, and they're like, "What?" It's like, "Oh, there's chemicals in the milk. I've seen it." And quite a lot of the time it'll be like Christina goes, "Okay, I'll have a look at it," and then he's like, "No, your brain's just calm down."
Okay. So Preston runs in, shouts "cats" at you both, and then flees into school. Ironically, getting into school before the pair of you.
Cats, okay. And sort of like I'll just be like trying to remember all the mad stuff he said in the past and how it's linked to something else, and be like, I'm just gonna have to wait until we've finished today. All right, I'll see you. I'll see you in a bit, Christian.
I don't know whether to lean into this or not, but I'm really tempted just to I've got a random Bible verse generator on my computer, on the browser. I'm tempted just to speak in Bible verses.
So constantly.
constantly while around any other people, just Bible verses.
So we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me?
You had a Christian.
And thus we know why Christian's considered a weirdo.
That's just fairly normal, though. That's very normal.
Yeah. So we head into school. I think the camera kind of lingers on a couple of 15-year-old girls who all watch Butch walk into school, like kind of thing. Butch and Christian oblivious to this as you are when you're 15, kind of thing. And school begins. Normally, Christian, your form teacher is a teacher called where is his name? I wrote his name down.
It's Mr. Andrews. That'll be scary.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson. Mr. Doldrum. Mr. Doldrum is your form teacher, and he also teaches like all the sciences and sometimes maths. And you sit there for a while, expecting him to turn up and take register, and he doesn't arrive. And it gets like, strangely close to when the first lesson is supposed to begin. And everybody's sitting there like, I'm assuming Christian sits quite nicely.
Yeah, definitely. Right at the front of class.
Yeah.
There'll be a bunch of people at the back saying, "Oh, if he's 15 minutes late, we get to go home."
Yeah, I think so, probably. Yeah, definitely when you're 13.
A rumour that goes around every single school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, when it's like 14 minutes 58 seconds and these kids have got their coats on and that kind of stuff, and they're like, "No, we get to go home. It's true. I saw it in the post in the paper. My dad says," kind of thing. The PE teacher, Mr. Andrews, I don't know, Mr. Andrews kind of sort of barrels into class and goes, "Right, all of you sit down. Mr. Doldrum is ill. Yeah, he's ill. All right, he's ill. Definitely ill. Sit down. We need to take this register, and then you can all go off and school, right? Yeah, school. As PE teachers are not actually that very good at the admin side of things and that.
Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted.
He goes, "Christian, right? Isn't it? I've heard about you. Yeah, I've heard about you in the staff room. That's great. That's just great."
Yeah.
Anyway, you're here, and then he just sort of goes through this list. There's a bunch of kids at the back of the room who are like, "Oh, do a whole day in school. We could have gone to Chippy and everything. It's rubbish." But Mr. Doldrum has not turned in this morning. There is a chaotic day of lessons where it's clear that Mr. Doldrum hasn't told the school he was going to be sick. And so some of the classes are sort of squidged together, just because there's not enough teachers to kind of cover you, and we're the 80s, so we probably don't care about class sizes.
Do they not have that, like, there was always that one teacher who would come in, that cover teacher?
Yeah.
In every school. Do you not have one of those? Probably
around about the last two lessons of the day.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so everything before lunch is like, "Oh, everybody we were going to talk about photosynthesis with with the year 5.
Bring that TV in on the wheelie.
Yeah.
Watch this video.
We're going to watch this instructional video about how to interact with the firewalkers that guard the forest around the loop." And it's like this old safety video of what to do when the mechs kind of approach you and how to not look like a dead rabbit so they don't stand on you, sort of comedy things. And we all watch that for a bit, and everybody gets bored. And and that kind of stuff. And then in the afternoon, yeah, the useless supply teacher turns up and retains no control over any of the science and maths classes that she takes for the rest of the day. Lunchtime, food is drab. It is a typical kind of school day of misery and stuck indoors. Blissfully, at about 3:10, the bell goes and everybody's let loose.
Excellent.
Freedom.
Yeah. So what happens? Do you meet up? Do you head off? Go home? Come back? Do you all meet at the church? What do you?
I imagine we all kind of, I don't know. I would walk home, and Butch would walk to the tractor. So we'd probably walk a little bit together.
Yeah.
But Christian, would you get picked up from the door, or would you?
No. I have to stay late for an evening study group.
Right. So yeah, I imagine Butch and I would kind of just hang out outside school for a little bit, and then walk the road that gets to my house, and then he would be off over the farms.
I don't really have to stay late. I can go straight to our sanctuary place if we need.
Yeah. Oh, we see a line to your parents, Christian.
What were these?
These bunny ears. Right. So Christian.
Just bunnies around me.
Just all the bunnies. It's from the
Oh,
Firewalker
no.
video.
Bunny. I'm going to teach you about Christianity. No, let's not do that.
Hello, little bunny. I'm going to teach you about the loop and the forest.
Oh, awesome.
I'm the other
Yeah,
little
so-
bunny. I'm not going to get
yeah.
killed when this thing stands on me.
I will kind of like come out as I imagine I'd be the last in, last out as well, because I'm so disorganized. They'd be stood waiting for me as I'm just kind of talking crap to random people, and like stumble out like,
Cats, Preston. What about
Cats.
cats? I couldn't stop thinking about cats.
The
all
first
day.
and last thing I said, cats. Yeah. Right. Okay. I know I've said this before, and I know I've had crazy ideas, but this time I really think I'm onto something. Have you noticed cats? There's more of them than there should be. Conspiracy?
Cats don't normally hang around much around the farm, except
Seriously, right?
Oh no, that's my fault. I was feeding the cats, so they all came. That was definitely my
How
fault.
much food have you put? No, like I was walking to school this morning, and the windowsills in the village, right? There's cats on these windowsills, and they're looking into people's houses as if they can see something we can't. The cats, I think they know something. Have you noticed this? It's don't tell me I'm crazy again. I know I said it about the milk, and I know I said that the police thought were trying to steal our brainwaves, and right, fine, maybe I was up too late and I was playing too many video games. But did you?
Are you sure you saw cats looking into houses? It wasn't cats in houses.
Yeah, because normally, right, I walk past the cat and it comes up to me and gives me the horrific allergic sneezes. But this time they didn't want to do that. They just sat there, kind of glaring, and I thought, well, that's very weird. I'm sure there was a few of them. I mean, I suppose I don't really see many cats very often at my house. But yeah, maybe I'm definitely cats. There's definitely something weird with cats. Have either of you seen cats? You said you've been feeding them?
Yes, I've been feeding the cats. The cats at my house.
Have you noticed that they look at you strangely?
I didn't think they did. I put food out. They ate it. They were very nice. They were very fluffy. They did sit very still as I stroked them, but I thought they were praying. That's what I thought that cats did. It reminded me of Matthew 26:41.
Sure it did.
Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Well, I know that the ancient Egyptians revered cats as gods, so maybe these are reincarnated Egyptian gods come to watch television. I don't know why. Something.
It's cats.
Well, yeah, it probably is just cats, to be fair. It was a boring weekend, and this Monday morning, something exciting had to, yeah.
I find it odd that you've seen tons of cats all looking into houses. That's a bit weird.
Yeah, that's what got me. I was like,
Well,
normally,
houses are where the food is. Surely they just want the
unless
food.
Christian's fed every cat and they're all thinking they get fed inside a house.
that might be it. Yeah, maybe it's not a conspiracy. It's just
And my
Christian.
mum takes food to lots of people's houses, so maybe they follow her.
I mean, that's smart cats if they recognize your mum's food specifically. But yeah.
So
Either way, odd.
as we're having this conversation, where are we walking? Where are we heading to?
I suppose there'll be like a point we're walking towards where my tractor is, like
Okay.
near the wall.
Yeah,
There'll be a point. Yeah, there'll be a point where it's like better for us to split off because it's just like, oh, it's quicker for me to go this way and you go home, and then we'll meet up.
Yeah,
We'll meet
it'll
up
be
back
that conversation where you're still mid-conversation when you've reached the point at which you need to go, and you're kind of having that, like, looking at your watch going, we're still having the conversation, we all need to leave now. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
buddy.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm kind of wondering, because Preston knows nobody's going to be at home.
Yeah.
Christian knows he's got some leeway here, because his mum will probably be overrunning at the church, because that's what happens. Also, Butch has been asked to kind of make sure he gets home on time today.
Yeah.
So is this one of those things where it's like, perhaps, look, I need to get home on time today, guys, but if you want to hang out at the farm for a bit, it's not a problem. Or
Yeah.
Or is it like, all right, I've got to get home in time today, guys. Bye.
Cats love farms. We could look in the farm if there's any cats.
Look at the odd cat hanging around. But...
My parents won't notice. My dad won't even notice if I was there or not. He doesn't care. Although your dad might worry if you're not there, Christine. You sure your excuse?
Are there any cats around us right now as we're walking?
You want to make, as you kind of glance around, you can't see anything
Okay.
around, but if you want to sort of perhaps spend 10 minutes sort of checking around and looking, you can. That would be some kind of roll, Christian.
Yeah.
Investigate.
Yeah, it'd be an investigate roll. And what we could do here is, so the person who's the best at investigation could be assisted by the two other folks. So you get an extra 2 dice.
All
I
right.
got 2.
You get 2.
Score
get-
2.
I
I
get
will
8.
assist as much as I can.
8.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you two give me a dice, I get
roll.
8.
Yeah, a seeing cats roll.
Go for it.
Push
Give-
bars,
give
bend gates, see cats.
All right. Wow.
I'm going to help by meowing.
Meow.
That is a 50% success rate. 4 6s.
Wow.
I see the Matrix, and it's made of cats.
You see all the cats. It's Nyan cat. You're gonna get it first.
Yeah.
Is this? Oh no, we don't want that one. That's the flood. That's too grown up. That one. Let me just check on this one.
Oh, hello.
Oh hello.
Are we not safe for work channel?
We are. Why? What's happened?
No, just if it was a cat's frontals.
It's cats with like whips and sexy costumes.
Oh, sexy cats. That's probably not gonna.
I'd forgotten that I'd left my YouTube playing, and it's cycling through 80s new romantic hits as we're playing this. It's quite a good soundtrack.
Nice. So yes, you see cats, and for every additional roll, for every additional success, you can ask me
Is that an
some.
additional cat?
No, yeah, you see 4 cats. No, you can ask me. So all right. So for 1 success, you spot that there are around a couple of the houses. Mostly, you've noticed on the back side of on the back of the houses. So as you kind of make your way down the alleys or something on this street, on a couple of the houses there are 1 or 2 cats, and they're both sat next to each other, staring into the houses. So that's for 1 success. For a second success, I will normally you get to ask questions, but I will give you as you're watching, one of the cats kind of jumps down and runs along the wall to this cat that's sat at the end of the street on a pillar, and and it gets close, and you're expecting it to maybe go meow, but it makes this strange sort of hissing.
Voice of James Earl Jones comes out of it.
Yeah, James L. Jones. Yeah, it makes this.
Your father.
It makes this odd sort of hissing noise. So you can ask me 2 questions because I stole one of your extra successes.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 questions about the cats.
All right. Are they paying any attention to anything around them other than inside the houses? So, like, if a car goes past and we walk past, they don't like flinch. They're just like razor focused.
No, they seem really intent in whatever's in these rooms.
All right. I would like to kind of, upon noticing the couple of cats, well, the one that jumped out, the one that's still looking in the room, can I look in the room and see what it is I can kind of get their eyesight onto, what they're looking at?
I think these rooms are maybe like the first floor.
All right, so they're
rooms,
like on there.
so
yeah.
if you're walking down like an alley down a ginnel,
Yeah.
you can see them up on the rooms.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be so hard to kind of think, because maybe we've gone past the kind of houses where Preston lives, and we're into the slightly fancier, bigger houses. It wouldn't be so hard for Christian to kind of go, if that was my house, that might be my dad's room. My dad's study, the room, like that kind of thing.
Hey, right, you guys, you've seen this, right? This is weird. These cats know something. This might be like, just follow me on this one. Butch, give me a lift. You can get me up there, right? You can lift me. You're like, I'm only little. On your shoulders, give us a lift.
Yeah, you up there, yeah? If you want to get up there.
Yeah, I just want to see what this. I just want to see what this thing's looking at.
Sure. I will attempt to heave-ho him up and give him a lift up. Some sort of.
I think because it's interesting in the result here, we might have to make. I think it's definitely a force, a body force. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's part of me that like would be a great point to fail, which is just heave me over like what?
Nice.
Yeah. Into a trash can.
3 successes.
Oh wow!
Hey,
Yeah.
nice.
Awesome stuff.
You just flex with one hand and lift me up. Like.
Yeah. So you managed to hoist Preston up. It's not a problem. He's a wee little lad. For the 2 extra successes, you could either climb up with him, or you could maybe give a +1 for Christian to climb up. Give a bonus for somebody else to climb up.
Good. You know these houses better than I do.
Sure, yeah. They're probably built the same way.
I'll hold Preston up with one hand, and then just like, because you're so much lighter, I'll sort of like lift you up with the other.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we managed to get both of the
Pyramid
younger
style.
guys up, and Butch is just there bracing against the wall, kind of thing. So yeah, Christian's right. This is roughly the same place that would have been his dad's private study in this side of the house. And as you're looking in, you can see there is somebody, and they're wearing just like a home clothes. They've got a big old computer in front of them, and you can see like the blue light from the monitor sort of on their faces. The cats appear to be at the far edge of the window ledge, where they should probably get an angle onto the screen, as well as all the bits of paper and stuff that's on the desk, and the big notice board that's behind the computer, kind of thing. From the distance, from like the end of the backyard where you're sat, it's hard to make out exactly what's on there, but you can definitely see. I mean, Christian probably recognizes the logo from his dad's stuff, the Rinsky Energy logo, the MAF, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Foods, who are the people who are like the government body who make sure Rinsky Energy are doing things right. And oversee the loop. You recognize those because you've probably seen them in your dad's things, or maybe on his ID badge, or whatever it is on these sort of notices. And Preston, you can see, because the way they are, These are definitely like loop plans or loop blueprints for projects that are ongoing. It's a little bit too far away to see exactly what it is, but it's definitely like this is a work from home sort of situation, and they're working on something. This person's quite happily typing away. They've probably got like radio or something going on, and they're
a weird scene if they look over their shoulder, see two kids and a cat. Like...
Yeah, so I guess that's like the alternate view, like the camera would switch, and this person's just like la 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 la, and there's like a cat going, kind of thing, and two kids.
That angle where you can see his head, he's like looking at the computer, he's like angled face, and you just see this kid's head pop up and another kid's head pop up,
and the cat staring in.
So the cat hasn't moved at all.
Cat doesn't seem to be
the kind of commotion of us.
No.
As climbing up. I will look.
From what we know of the world, like, is it fairly normal that someone should have a computer of this size just at home?
Yeah. So the loop workers, there are a lot of sort of Doc Brown style people that work for the loop. It's not unusual that for the benefit of the team, these eclectic people don't necessarily go into work every day.
Right.
Because then they have to interact with other people, and then there are HR complaints, which is probably why your dad is so cross all the time.
Head of HR.
Yeah, something like that.
Every day.
Yeah. So the loop itself is it has the Department of High Energy Particle Physics, like proper bigwig weird science stuff going on. There's all kinds of rumors about what goes on in the loop. What it officially does is provide clean green energy, and it has done since the 1950s. They do research into the magnetron effect. You've probably had some scientists come to school and talk about joining the loop and Rinsky Energy to do this. In terms of what Butch knows about them, they purchased a long time ago, probably before great-granddad's or during great-granddad's Frank. Like, they don't own the land the farm is on, but they own the land underneath the farm where the loop will go, kind of thing. And they do sometimes, they have these robotic walkers that patrol the sort of public land which they own, big robotic mechanoid things. It's the yellow and orange thing. I think it was in one of the intros I made, and also it's in the core book. I'll call out the page another time. But yeah, these big robotic walkers kind of patrol the land. And because even though it's public land, you can't camp on the loop, and they have testing sites all around the area and that kind of stuff. And if your farm has a testing site on it, at least a data collection point, the subsidy that the MAF will give the farm will pay for the farm for a year or two. It's like exorbitantly high, but you're not allowed to go that field in the farm and that kind of stuff. There are probably rumours with some of the other farms that they've got special scientifically modified super corn or something that they have, all that kind of stuff, and those kind of things. So it's not unusual that somebody like this is got a big old computer and all this stuff at home, and it wouldn't be unusual that Christian's dad has an office at home that none of the other family are allowed in. Yeah, kind of thing. But this cat is very interested in it. So,
as we're kind of holding on to this, like, there's like sort of sticking out window ledges and munching your hands on. Like, I kind of look through the cat if I can, like, kind of trying to get around it to look at Christian. Like, this is weird, right? Shoo, cat. I can't really take my hands off it, like trying to elbow it, like. Does it try and move at all, or is it kind of very resolute to stay there?
So the cat as you try and jostle it, looks around at you, looks down at you,
as all cats do.
As all cats do, very slowly, looks down at you, and then after a moment, it sort of shakes its head, hisses at you, and jogs on, and like probably like jumps on your head and leaps onto a fence and just runs off down the street like a normal cat would. And I
mean, to be like, ah! they jumped on me and just freak out like, "Ah!"
Poor Butch is like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be the point where maybe you all sort of collapse down and
Yeah.
nobody's hurt, but also, ow.
Yeah.
Oh, ow.
Sorry, I'm not good with animal things.
Did you see anything?
Yeah, maybe there's definitely some cool software. There's at least a ZX Spectrum 4X. There was his gaming mouse was being really impressive.
It's got a mouse. That's impressive.
Yeah, his computer tower and his chair were a bit old school, but I like the setup. That's about all. Oh, he had a really cool copy of Dune on his bookshelf. I saw.
Illustrated copy of June.
Yeah. So he seems like a really cool guy. Oh yeah. He was doing some kind of work. Christian, your dad works at the plant or the loop thing, doesn't he?
He does, but I don't really know what he does.
So
I'm
did
only
you?
11.
Well, yeah, I know.
And he's really, really private about his workroom.
All right. So it's okay. So you've not been in to see any of this kind, but yeah, it looked like there was kind of some kind of coding I couldn't quite see, but like something to do with, was it math? Is that math? Is that something?
It's farmers, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Ministry of Agriculture,
Yeah.
Fisheries and Food is the official
I
title.
won't have any idea. It's a British institution.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see. We have a bunch of stuff about math around. the farm.
I'll quickly describe the logo to Butch. Like, yeah, and some kind of energy company thing. Winsky.
I know there's,
I think Preston would probably know Rinsky Energy.
Yeah.
If your dad is an engineer, the Rinsky Energy is probably somebody who has, for some project or other, hired him and paid for everything to come to the UK. Right?
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, so he works. That's cool. You can work for them. Yeah, so yeah, it's something to do with Rinsky where my dad works. So yeah, this guy's just working from home, but that cat's like, I don't know. It looked like he was looking at the screens, man. It was really weird.
Maybe cats. I know cats like staring at stuff, but I mean,
it's a cool light, I suppose, and
it's a bit weird for it. Is there more cats doing this? Kind of like.
As you look around, so these are the window ledges that had 2 cats on.
There we go.
Now one cat is facing you guys, and the other cat is still watching in. And the cat that was almost like the one
on
ran
the pillar.
down on the pillar,
Yeah.
it's looking at you.
All right, okay. I know what I'm like, but seriously, Butch, that cat's looking at you, right?
That cat's looking at us.
I kind of look at it intensely back.
Yeah, you have a staring competition
Having
with the
a staring
cat.
I'm getting a bit uncomfortable with this cat.
Yeah.
This is weird. It's like the time that those necromancers invaded Zavel, and they polymorphed, and there were ravens, and all the ravens started looking at everyone, and it's like, and Varazand had to use his cloak of invisibility to sneak through the. Well, you don't really have one of those. Can't do that.
No, we can just leave though. That would also be a cloak of invisibility.
Well, yeah, good point.
With that, do you walk down the rest of the alley to where Butch has stashed his bike? She's like, "We'll leave. Push the children along."
Yeah, I'm getting more and more unnerved as long as this cat stirs, and I'm sort of like trying to slowly move further away from this place.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine as soon as you start moving, there's not a lot we could do to stop it. You put your arms out like it's like, yep, we're herding these kids.
These
It's
young
like,
ones, let's go.
Move them. Let's just think about this somewhere where I'm not being stared at by a weird cat.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
we heard the kids, we heard the little ones along the alley to the edge of the dry stone wall that borders Butch's farm. We jump on it, these guys hang on to the sides or something, like a proper retro futuristic backseat. Maybe somebody sits on the handlebars, somebody stands on the back, and we sort of ride through the grass.
Yeah, it's sort of like lower to the ground than it should be, really, as it moves along. And it's like I know that we've got some, as I'm just like going there to try and we've got some scientists coming around later. I don't know whether can't remember what he's like. I think he might be doing math and Minsky. I'm trying to sort of remember, and brains not putting it together, and just keep riding towards the farm.
Do you think if this scientist guy knew that cats were spying on him, we could get some kind of reward for telling him about it? Because
what kind of reward, though?
Although,
also, what's the reward?
Well, like, I don't know. Like, if we blow up this global conspiracy that cats have been stealing secrets for the Russians all along, and that there's a secret communist cult amongst felines, then surely we would get like some kind of like Chewbacca Medal of Honor. Although he didn't get the medal, did he?
No, he didn't.
Like, we could be the new Han Solos, like the renegades that solve the. I'm thinking too much again, aren't I? Never mind.
So as we,
I'm going a bit too deep in it there, Preston.
as we bounce along, the hoverbike complaining about excess mass for
keep turning the alarm off every time.
Just bypass the other safeties and plug in it directly into the battery so the generators heft you up. As we bypass that and we sort of shoot along the way, we get closer and closer to Casa del Butch, which is this old farmhouse, quite big. You can see parked up on the side there is I guess it would be like a Ford. What would the government use in the 80s? Like a black Ford car of some kind.
Yeah, a Model T.
Yeah, something official, but also carpool-like. So there's one of them on the sort of parking area you have at the side of the house, and then there's also like a slightly bigger white van with the Rinsky Energy, the Loop logo on the side as well, parked up there. And then in the lane further up, you can hear like there's a big collection of people. Those 2 or 3 people you saw in the morning, Butch, have now multiplied to there's got to be at least 15 of them, maybe 20. Some of them have got like those old like loud hailers, and they're shouting. What are they shouting? Like no more robots. Work for people. Some of them have got "We want organics" written on their signs, and that kind of stuff. You can see that there's some of them have got signs that say "Not another Liebe Alter," which to you guys might be a weird reference that is quite over your heads. But some of them have got the pictures of Rinsky Energy with a big X through it, and they seem to be like some sort of campaigning, some sort of activists taking upset about the robots or whatever is going on here.
Do I see my granddad Frank?
He's probably. I think he's not in the.
No.
He's not in there, but I suspect he's like at the edge of the farm, still on your property, and he's maybe got like a tray of tea or something, and he's like, "Come on, lad, do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a cup of tea?" And he's just not officially encouraging them, but anybody who challenges him, he's like, "It's basic human right, cup of tea," that kind of thing. Yeah, basic human rights.
Yeah. Breathe a sigh of relief that I don't see my granddad in the middle of them all. Look over to him and then breathe a sigh of disappointment as I see him serving tea.
Yeah. And you can see you see your dad and this woman. So your dad, somebody probably looks like you might have to double take, Christian, that it isn't your dad for a moment, because he looks very much like him. That sort of very formal suit, briefcase in one hand, probably that same sort of hat, almost as if it's been issued by a department, stood next to what you know is Butch's dad. And then a woman, and she's wearing a lab coat. She's got next to them is one of those fold-out tables, and the bit that Preston will probably focus on is there is at least 15 little, I say about a foot across by a foot wide, like roundish drone-looking things, like blue lights, antennas kind of thing. All laid out on this table as your dad is talking to the math man, and this scientist is sort of fitting up what looks like a base station, like a big antennae. It's got a fold-out computer and that kind of stuff, and she's sort of putting all that up, and you can see that that's kind of going on this side of the house, out of sight of the protesters and Grandad Frank. Then they're having this kind of conversation there. Your mum, who will recognise the sound of the bike coming across the farm, because mums can do that kind of thing, but waves at you, squints a bit when she sees the other folks sort of hanging off
put my head round and just like wave back.
Waves at you, and then heads into the kitchen kind of thing. Yeah. Where do you go? What do you do?
Well, I'll park the hover bike off to the side somewhere. Get off and turn it off, and sort of well, this is worrying. I wasn't expecting all these people here. I think my mum saw you. I could go quickly say that you're here just to nip over for a bit before we go out, but I'm not sure what. Give us a moment, and I'll just quickly.
Yeah, sure. We'll chill here.
Yeah.
Just quickly rush in.
So you run in. Your mum, she's making another tray of tea. Like, you can see she's got the big kettle on rather than the normal kettle on, that kind of thing. And she goes, "You didn't tell me Christian was coming."
Sorry, I didn't. I was. Yeah, we're just hanging out after school, and I thought it'd be nice for him to come round. And
listen, make sure you tell him, so he tells his mum that I'm really busy with this math man. Like, I'm really sorry I couldn't come to the prayer meeting. You need to tell him that, okay?
Yeah. I'll make sure he knows.
Yeah. And then
they're okay to come in, yeah?
Yeah, they can come in. Maybe it's good. Preston, he's the one who does all the little computery bits, isn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good at that.
It might be worth just saying hi to your dad, because that lady that came with the math man, she talks all the computery bits. He's not going to understand. This is why I wanted you to come home early before they got here.
Preston's pretty good with that. He might be able to help out.
Yeah. Well, and she leans close, like kind of conspiratorial, and she kind of goes, "Don't let your dad know you're gonna sort it out. He'll get upset.
All right.
Just
that's fine. Yeah.
Just listen in, maybe.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But make sure you tell Christian I was very busy, and it wasn't that I was avoiding the prayer meeting. I'll do some extra volunteering. Make sure his mum knows. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And she then goes, like, "Christian, do you have like a favorite type of biscuit, or is there a type of biscuit you're not allowed to have, or something?"
Garibaldi.
Like Garibaldi.
It sounds too foreign.
Okay. And she goes, "I'll get some of those biscuits he likes, and I'll get some juice for you all." And she gets, like, you can see she starts.
I imagine he's only allowed plain digestives.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, on a special occasion we get a rich tea.
Rich tea, but definitely not on Sundays.
Actually, even worse.
Yeah.
Than digestive.
Yeah,
so she gets this tray of stuff together for you, and to spoil, to butter Christian up, and that kind of stuff.
I'll head out back to the guys, and Yeah, you can come in.
Cool.
Mum,
Although if she really wants to butter me up and she knows me well, she would get a tea cake.
Ooh.
I'll
Definitely not
Mum's-
allowed those at home.
Yeah.
Mum wants to just tell you, Christian, so you can tell your mum that she's been busy with this math man. That's why she couldn't nip round to Sunday to help out on the church.
Okay.
Hey, this is
I can tell Mum that. That's fine.
Ladies
nice.
around.
ladies.
Yeah.
Ladies.
Fine.
11, 15, and 13.
Yeah.
11, 15, 13.
13 hitting
Yeah.
my stride.
Oh, okay.
I like to imagine it was like me when I was 13, where you think you're all that and you literally know nothing.
Ooh, ladies.
we can have a little listen in to what they're talking about. Just gotta be quiet though.
Mhm.
Dad doesn't want us to.
So yeah. Basically, it's like I can comprehend languages, but then I need to, the spell like that Varazend has. Like, so I can comprehend the science, and then I will use my inner guile to try and how do you say, dumb it down for you people. Sound good? I mean, I'll just keep my mouth shut. That's better.
So like tap him on the shoulder. Yes, Preston, exactly like that. Dumb it down for us thick farm folk.
Cool. Bogus. Radical.
Radical. Gnarly.
But yeah,
80s.
These are old words you use in England, yeah?
Yeah.
Bogus, radical.
Yeah. This totally tubular, yes?
Yeah.
Tubular.
So is that our intent to try and sneak up on the event? We don't have to make a sneak roll. I'm not saying we are literally going to sneak, unless that's what you want to do. Actually, thinking about it.
I kind of hearing about a science lady. That's my focus.
So
yeah, I would.
I don't care about fiddly protesters.
Sort of like herd them into the bit where my mum's setting up, like biscuits and juice and stuff.
Yeah.
And show faces there, but sort of.
Where can we see where they're setting up this like base station, the computers and stuff?
yeah, so it's so there is this big honking like antenna style base station next to like the nearest barn to the house. Like it's not so far that should it be raining, you can't run there to pick up your the tractor or the tools to go out and do the job kind of thing.
Because could I go and have a look at it? Because I imagine that being a computer nerd, I'd be like, ooh, computers. I want to go kind of see what it does.
Yeah, so I was what I was wondering is, are you trying to deliberately not be seen, or are you just going to be like young kids going, ooh, stuff? Is there a role here or not?
I would probably be like, ooh, stuff, and I imagine Butch would be like, don't get in the way.
Yeah, I think it'd be a case of like, because I don't want my dad to know that we're listening, but also it'd be weird for you not to be super interested. So it'd be a case of like, I'll be sneaking to keep an eye on Preston to make sure he's okay.
I think it'd be more like you just try and rein me in a bit.
There's an alternate role here. Is Preston's charm at being just a genuinely, ooh, what's that thing? And is that the XK4? Or is it running a Ujima flip? That kind of
what's
stuff.
What's the kid? The kid in Home Alone, the Beans, the one that gets counted instead of Kevin. That's just asking all the questions and like, what time's the flight? When's this? What kind of gas does this car make? That kind of kid.
So those are the two different approaches. Like, are we going to try and sneak up and is Preston making notes on his little computer?
Atari Go.
Atari Go, where he's just like, oh, and they're using the thingy and the thingy. Oh, and that connects. Or is it a charm?
I don't think I'd be subtle enough to sneak. I just want to go have a look at it.
Okay, so but
if everyone else knows that I should sneak, then I'd happily kind of be restrained. But
I think it would make more sense if you were just sort of too enamored to sort of sneak about.
Okay, so it's some kind of charm roll. Are we? So are we trying to charm your dad, Butch's dad, so he doesn't know that we're trying to find out and help him, or are we trying to charm the scientist so she just happily gushes about her project and the stuff?
That's what I'd be wanting to do.
I think I'd be trying to cover for Preston by charming my dad, just trying to be like,
Okay.
I brought him around after school and I told him about the science lady, and he couldn't sit still in his seat and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
so basically, like, I'm hoping that, like, if I can go, well, I'd want to look at everything and see whether it works. But in doing so, in looking at all the machines and trying to work out what everything is, I'll get an understanding of what they're planning to do, and then I could be like, hey, Butch, maybe you shouldn't have this machine on, maybe you should, or this is what it does. And then when they have the discussion about it, I'd be able to go, well, actually, the C4Z quantum spectre doesn't actually do that, and
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy to just go try and talk to the scientist, but like, so what's this button do?
Okay,
What's that
so
for?
who has the worst charm between the two of you, between Butch and Preston?
I have 5 in total.
0.
0, so it's all heart for you.
Oh, sorry, you mean charm? Sorry, I have 1 ranking charm. Sorry.
One.
I have
Four
two heart, but 0 charm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it looks like James is going to be making the roll, but because you are sort of running interference and kind of buttering up your dad, he can have a bonus from that.
Okay.
Should he wish to push this roll and take I've forgotten the word. Take a minus, that'll do. Take a condition. Butch would also suffer that condition, or a condition, if you take part in this. Is that okay?
Yep, it's fine. If he fails completely and has to push it, I'm fine taking the whatever other condition.
So I get 2 for my heart, and then I get 1 for the assistance from Butch.
Yeah, 1 for Butch chatting up his dad.
So I need a 6 on these 3. Oh my god, that is 3 1s.
Wow, if we were in Aliens, you'd be panicking. So we've got 2 options here. You can work out a way that your pride, Varazand, the paladin, applies here, and you can use that today to gain 1 success, or you can push your roll and try again.
Or you could use luck.
Or you could use your luck to reroll. Yeah, forget about luck.
Does luck let me reroll all my dice I rolled, or just one of them?
It lets you reroll everything that's not a success.
Oh,
All of them, yeah.
I will try and see if I can get lucky then for the first time. Did we work out whether it's luck points for the whole adventure, or whether it's just for this session?
Do you know, I didn't look that bit up, but I did look up the pride. Hang on.
If it's anything like fate, it'll be for the session.
Well,
but...
I think it'll be for the session.
I'll use my luck point now, anyway, to try and re-roll these 3. Because then at least,
58.
I imagine if I re-roll it, I can still push it anyway.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, 1, 2, 6. Got a 6. There we go.
Yay. Luck points. Your luck points are replenished at the beginning of every session. There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah. So,
So I have.
That's
I've
the
used-
strength of luck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. So we look like we're about to really annoy the math man or something. Like he's listening in. It looks like it's about to all go pear-shaped when Preston says something to the scientist that gets her really excited.
Yeah, I'll probably recognize, like, is this the Sinclair CX processor? And they're like, you know what that is?
Yeah, and she just lights up and she says, yes, we got the first run from the factory because of the work we're doing at the loop. Isn't that amazing? Look, we tied it into, and then there's a whole like thing of technobabble where I think we see, and it's up to you, Martin, whether Butch recognizes it, almost like a little bit of relief floods over your dad's face.
Yeah.
That sort of
yeah, I'll sort of see him sort of like I'll see his shoulders kind of like slink down slightly, and he's sort of like like that deep, like he's been like holding himself really tense.
Yeah.
And then let's go, and I'll kind of actually I could roll empathy, I guess, to see if I notice it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see.
Not really very empathetic, but I did get a 6 though.
Yeah. So yeah, we see Dad just sort of like, oh, it's okay. Yeah. no, this is not going to ruin the whole situation. And also, now somebody's here who understands what the hell these guys are talking about. So Christian, what are you doing while Butch is sort of running interference and trying to keep his dad from kicking you off the farm, and Preston is just now like nerding out with this woman?
Was I in on the plan? I wasn't sure I was in on the plan, really. I assume I would have been, right?
I mean, you might have been on the plan a bit. It depends on how Christian kind of views the deception that's going on here, like the...
Yeah.
Are you just sort of stood at the side, just sort of watching, eating your Garibaldi biscuits, your bribery biscuits?
Yeah, probably. I don't know how I can help.
You don't?
Well, like, what would you be interested in? Like
Yeah.
the protesters, or the machinery, or the talk to the parent, that kind of thing?
I think I'm interested in the protesters, really.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So you've wondered while these guys are like, no, Dad, I'm really sorry. He was really excited. It was an accident. I mentioned the Rinsky energy, and I literally had to push him off my quad bike, but he wouldn't go. He's like, I couldn't stop him, Dad. I'm sorry. And
Yeah.
ZX 752 with the 63K what's it, the flip, and
The 1 meg processor, like,
that kind of stuff.
it's 1 bit.
Glass of juice in hand, Garibaldi biscuits in the other. You sort of wander to the other side of the house, and you can see that there's this gathering of people around. There's some sort of upturned box, and a teenager. She can't be more than maybe 18 or 19, which is quite old to you, but you know.
Yeah, that's like 30 to me.
Yeah, she's nearly dead. She's probably going to fall over and have a heart attack in a minute. And she's there. You can see that there's a bunch of other teenagers, and there's probably maybe somebody you recognize from like a babysitter, perhaps, or the daughter of Maria, or you know, some of the other people, some of the older kids you've seen, the older folks you've seen around. And then there are also like folks who probably look a little bit like Preston's dad, like blue collar workers, but they've got pictures of, you know, the tankers, the big floating shipping tankers that go across across the land, that move stuff around. They've got pictures of them crossed out, and you know, they're all chanting and that kind of stuff. And this woman, so Brett's right, they do need a lot of prayers, these guys. These are not
I've got a great verse right here. I'm ready for them.
Sure. What is it? Are you gonna you're gonna wait?
What I'd like to do is sort of walk over and like in a break, when in the middle of their chants, just be like, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:21.
There's a little 11-year-old kid in a smuggler uniform.
Yeah, and this woman who stood, this teenager, she stood on this box. She sort of looks down at you, and everybody kind of goes, "Huh?" And she,
I don't blame them.
And she then kind of, there's a beat where everybody is not quite sure whether the child is gonna say anything else or get involved or what. And then she goes back to her kind of like rhetoric that she's chanting at the front.
I'm just imagining the look on your face. We just stood there with arms open, expecting them all to be like, "Of course, yes," and you're just like, "Why didn't it work?"
And she goes off onto this rhetoric, and she's using this little microphone thing with the speaker, and she's talking about returning to the old ways, and we shouldn't give up on the human element, the heart, the soul of work, and what it is to put some of your own essence into that, what you're doing, and how these robots and the ministry are evil. And if they wish to bring their evil ways to this area, then she will curse them. And the crowd kind of closes there, like, and she then turns around to Butch's house, and she points at it, and she shouts, "I curse you all for your ignorance of the old ways of the land, of the spirit, of the soul. I curse your body." And she just goes off on this big, like, if your mum was there, she would probably break down and cry and then maybe faint.
Well, that's not very good. I've just said, do not be overcome by evil. Overcome evil with good. She's going even more evil.
She is, yeah. She has this moment, and then some of the teens are like, yeah, right, you know, curse them, kind of thing. Some of the dock workers and the older folks who are there, kind of chanting, sort of take a moment, are a bit like, wait, what?
I throw a Garibaldi biscuit at her face.
So you throw this Garibaldi.
It's flat, so you can whip it.
Yeah, and she sort of turns around at you and scowls at you, and then I think some of the other kids, some of the older, like the teens, are like, start swearing at you and be like, "Get lost, kid! You just don't know what you've been taught. You're just a little weirdo. Get lost," kind of thing. And start trying to start trying to push you away and that kind of stuff, and then maybe laugh at you if you do indeed kind of wander off. They are not nice. Where's your mum? Where's your parents? You're lost out here.
Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord. Psalm 27:14.
Says between tears.
Yeah. So they taunt you and torment you and they bully you, Christian, for trying to bring the God-fearing ways to them. This woman on the box has cursed Butch's farm, and after that, she sort of gets down off the box. Yeah. Damn, you cursed my farm. She gets down off the box, hands the speaker over to one of these dock workers, who begins talking about how the Liebe Alter made him redundant. They took away his job. He'd worked on the docks, and it's all very dry and boring. You watch as this woman, this teenage woman who cursed the farm, the teenagers around her, sort of like a little sort of cadre, like a little group of them, all sort of like, "Oh, that was amazing, you were so cool, yeah, we told that little kid, oh, how cool are we, you cursed the farm, how amazing is that going to be true?" And they sort of make their way off towards the private land, not the public land you can see further up, and as you look in some of the trees, you can see like there's bunting and some tents and stuff, and Grandad Frank, who you might know from seeing around Butch, he comes out and goes, "Look, lad, it's best not to poke the weirdos. Just come back onto the farm where you can be safe, because heaven help us if your mother finds out you've gone anywhere near these folk." And he sort of brings you along, and he pulls out like a Kit Kat out of his pocket. "Look, this has got chocolate on it, that kind of." And he brings you back into the farm in a sort of caring kind of practical way. Do you take the Kit Kat? Do you take the chocolate off him?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Just checking.
Sure.
He gives you the Kit Kat.
Christian likes to eat his.
I'm worried now about what's in this Kit Kat. as out of
Make
game,
a con
but
save.
in game.
Make a con save. Yeah. No con save. So we head back to the farm. Preston, would you like to comprehend what this scientist is trying to do?
I would, yeah. That is a 3. I get 8 dice at this because I've got comprehend 3 and mind 5. So
wow,
this is my jam.
This is my
Looking
jam,
at
baby.
gadgets. 2 6s.
Nice. All right. So basically, these bots, these drones, are geared up to do a lot of the cultivational and agricultural mini jobs. So they will
planting seeds.
Yeah, planting seeds, pesticide distribution, feeding at specific times and that kind of stuff, minor repairs on parts of buildings and that kind of thing, and they're geared up to do that. They are called Botanical and Rural Operational Workers, Nocturnal, Iteration 3.
Catchy.
Yeah, catchy name.
So Brown 3.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And the scientist, she is called Dr. Bennett, Nicola Bennett. She probably says, like, I'm Dr. Nikki. These are all like, that kind of stuff. And she does that kind of thing.
One of those cool doctors.
Yeah, she's a cool scientist.
Does she have funky shaped glasses, kind of?
Yeah, she has red, funky shaped glasses. Looks like they're made out of like super cool polymer or something. And basically what she's got here is like a mini collective. It's not AI. Don't think I'm doing anything illegal here. It's not an AI. But it's a working collective that will operate around the farm and distribute the workload between them, lessening the load for our, and she gestures to Butch's dad, who probably frowns at the idea that he can't quite do all the work. It's not what she's suggesting, but that's what he thinks. Lessening the load for our human element in the rural and agricultural setting, kind of thing. You've got an extra success here, so is there something more you want to have worked out, or what do you want to know about these bots?
I'd like to see if there is, having looked at that, because I'll obviously be looking at every single little detail and gizmo and gadget I can externally look at. Obviously I can't look at the programming or the internals, but from what I've seen on Butch's farm, from the machinery and these bots, does it look like there is anything erroneous on them? So like there might be some saws and some like tweezers and shit like that, but is there anything that looks a bit like, well, why has it got a camera on it, or why has it got this weird processor on it? Like, is there anything that looks slightly out of place, or is it all legit?
No, they have a slightly overclocked sort of communications network on them. And the base station they sort of relay to is essentially a big old antenna and processor kind of thing. So if anything, she's only got 15 here. She could probably add another 5 or 10 on for this this kind of thing. It
looks a bit like there's a lot more overcapacity than you'd think there would be.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like it's built to handle a lot more than these 5. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so there's definitely more capacity in the network she could build. The base station you see has got like spaces for them almost to kind of land and go to bed on and dock with. Some of them are slightly more geared up for cutting and that kind of. They each have like mini rolls, so they'll be like 3.1 and 3.2.
Oh, mini rolls. Christy be interested in that.
Yeah, mini rolls, chocolate cake and that kind of stuff. So they all have like, some of them have specialties, some of them are just generic and that kind of stuff. And they all during the day. So she explains to you, during the day, they're supposed to dock with the station, recharge, process what they did the night before. And then at dusk, they sort of like power up and go about their duties. So they have like night vision and like that kind of stuff as well, infrared and that kind of thing. And the idea is they work at night so that the farm is ready for the day when humans are around, because we are not nocturnal kind of thing. And that's her kind of pitch. A very, very sort of, and I guess she might be, because she's just pitching it as generic, she doesn't know that Preston is super cool, a little bit patronizing and like, isn't that exciting sort of thing.
And I will be absolutely childlike, like, yeah, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, like proper eating it up completely. And I will constantly be calling her Dr. Nikki every time I address her, because I just think it's really cool that this scientist is like, come and show me all these robots, and I get to like look at them in real life, because so there's a while where she does that, and eventually she's about to like the terminal on the base station, she's about to kind of clip it open and show you the base code and stuff, and the math man comes over and goes, Dr. Bennett, I think it's a little bit more than the children need to understand, don't you think? And she looks at him like, oh, I forgot you were here. Oh God, yes, of course, yes. And she clunks this thing back up,
and she says, I guess we should be telling them the maintenance routine and so on, kind of thing. And she heads over to Butch's dad. She goes, she pulls out like this book out of her pocket, which is like the maintenance book, and she then begins talking to the adults, to which you're sort of
yeah. Do I know your dad's ill, Butch, or is that something that
I don't. No, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't
Cool.
say I would have said to him, because he's. I don't think he's that ill. He's just. He has a bit of a cough and has some medicine, but he hides the most of it from me.
Cool.
So
cool?
So yeah, they sort of go off to talk about the maintenance. The math man gets in real close with Butch's dad and the scientist, and you can hear them talking about the test will last a certain number of weeks, and the subsidy will be paid, that kind of thing. And your dad is like, oh yes, should I send the bank account details for, is it one of them check things, kind of, and it sort of trails off as we then start focusing on the kids. Yeah. What is Christian returned? Is he like white with like, oh gosh, we're gonna be cursed, or is he now eating a Kit Kat and everything's better?
Yeah, I think things don't stick with Christian for too long. I think once he saw that Kit Kat, everything was better.
Oh, good. Grandad Frank did his job then.
You gotta remember that, like, being like bullied and abused and shouted at is just a daily occurrence. So it just whilst it affects at the time, and probably goes right into like the deep psychological parts of the brain.
When Christian's like 35, later, it'll come back to him.
That's
right now.
35 and 28 stone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So I'm conscious of the time. So there's.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
know, right?
That's zoomed.
Is there anything else we want to do at Butcher's farm? The grown-ups sort of finish off. There's about 10 minutes of them kind of talking. We look like the grown-ups, like us as the watchers, sort of look at Butcher's dad, look at this manual for the botanical and rural bots, and he just looks at it in a kind of like, yeah, right, whatever sort of thing. I'm going to give that to Butch later. And puts it in his pocket. They all pack up. The little bots sort of hover up, dock with the station, and then seem to power down and begin like an update or something. Your dad, Butch, kind of says, listen, I think Mum's going to have tea ready in about an hour. And then you better get a move on if you're going to get the chickens sorted, kind of thing.
Yep.
And he just leaves it at that and heads back into town, into the house. And you can immediately hear Grandad Frank starting in the kitchen, like immediately, like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to be out with them protesters. I'm going to be. I think I might take them. That kind of thing. As the kitchen door shuts, and your mum is just immediately like, oh, why did I marry this family, kind of thing. And you all three of you are kind of stood there in the yard. These bots sleeping on their dock. The hippies, the protesters, all wandering off to their camp in the woods, not far. What do we do? Anything?
I imagine I would have spent a bit of time telling Butch, like, these robots are really cool, and overly explaining them, but the gist of it being like they're going to really help your family, and I think it's a cool thing for your dad, and the processors don't know what they're doing. These robots are going to mean that you're going to have more free time and you can spend it with us and enjoy yourself, and you're not going to be a slave to this farm. So they're going to be awesome for you, dude. Like, they're going to do all the crappy jobs you always complain about doing and getting up in the morning. So yeah, this is a great idea. We can actually have a summer where we can like ride bikes and maybe talk to a girl. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I definitely sort of like perk up a bit when I hear, talking about, giving me more free time and sort of that kind of stuff. And like sort of conflicted also with all the real work is manual work, and you go out there and you do it yourself. You don't have a robot to do it, but also, it's a lot of responsibility sort of like being shifted around in my head.
Why are the robots only on at night?
That's so that they do the work, so the pre-preparational work. So if you imagine, if they spray pesticides on all the plants, when you come to gather them in the morning, the pesticides already dissipated because it's kind of had time to evaporate and things, and then the people can pick them. It does all the jobs that we basically. It means you can farm 24 hours a day. In the night when we're sleeping, they can do our jobs, and then in the day, Dr. Nikki said that we can do our jobs, and these things are going to be amazing for.
But if the robots worked all day, we wouldn't have to work at all, and we could be free to play and run and all sorts. That
would be awesome, but they only have 389 iodine lithium batteries that need charging, so they can't unless were linked into the main root power with coaxial couples. Maybe that would help them charge, but then that would be a really interesting system of wires across the farm, and then animals might get tethered in them, but then I'll just wave her off into
just
hypothetical technobabble.
Sounds like something off Star Trek. Yeah. Excellent. So
I'll probably be saying that all the way home with Christian as well.
So does Butch drive them across the farm on his bike, drop them off, drive back?
I'll drive to as close as I can get to the houses, and then
see you tomorrow.
Catch you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna head back and get tea and finish off the rest of the farm, and then see what it's like in the morning, I guess.
Keep an eye out for cats.
Cats. I guess I'll keep an eye out for cats. I'll ask my granddad.
Probably at this point, it's gone.
Forgotten about the cats already.
It's like the cats, something about cats, but Dr. Nikki, she was cool, and that robot was cool.
So on the way back, would you like to make an investigation roll, Butch?
Yeah, I can make an investigation roll.
Well, your cats. You're looking for cats, right?
Yeah, not my strong suit. My 2 dice. No.
Do you like to push it, or do you have any? You're too old.
I don't have any luck. No.
Push it. Like you're looking so hard for cats, you smash your quad bike into a tree.
Go on. I'll push. I mean, I guess someone's going to have to do it this session. I'll push.
push it real good.
I got a success.
Okay.
Hey, there we go.
Excellent. What do you become? What is the condition you become? Are you annoyed that you're looking so hard for cats? You accidentally scuff the bottom of the lander, the quad bike or something? Like you don't lift over a fence or something as high as you should.
Sort of like injured, I guess, would probably be the one for that. Sort of crash it slightly, like sort of I'm skirting down the side of this cobblestone wall, and I forget that there's a bit where it's collapsed inwards into the farm, and I've been messing around with the hovercraft's power already today, so it doesn't self-adjust properly. It's just set to max, and it just goes like thoop, just completely sideways as it then sort of like crash off it.
All right. So as you're doing this, as you're straining to look for cats, and you're trying to keep an eye out, it's not a cat you see, but across the field, almost appearing out of nowhere, is this figure, and it's nothing, and then it appears almost like it. I guess you would have seen like Star Trek or one of those sci-fi things, and it shimmers out of nowhere. Suddenly looks around and runs off towards the woods.
So, as I'm like trying to work out ways to like climb back up and just get my hovercraft, oh god, and then sort of get myself back onto it and head off in this kind of the same direction where it's gone.
Yeah, as you're doing that, you can hear Grandad Frank, and he's using grown-up language. He's having a moment, as your mum probably calls it. He's stood out in the yard, and he's shouting about somebody who has smashed up his allotment, his little shed, and he's having a proper fit about it. And you can hear your mum is like, "Oh, look, I don't know. We can check the security cameras. We've got them because of this math stuff." you're stuck in this moment of, do you go and help Grandad Frank, or do you chase off after what this invisible person you saw?
I'd probably help my granddad in that situation.
Okay. So you have this torn moment. You then turn the quad bike back towards the farm, and you can see, somebody has been through everything, smashed up, like broken the windows, his whatever his potatoes and barrels and that kind of stuff, all knocked over. It's an absolute mess. And then on the front door is like a pentagram. Somebody's painted a pentagram in red paint. And I guess we move from Butch sort of, all right, Grandad, I'll help you kind of patch that up kind of thing, to whose house do we go to? Is it Preston's or Christian's?
Mine would be closest to school.
Okay,
so I'd go home first, I imagine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although it depends how far away we are from the farm, because if it's my house, Christian's house, the farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like school, my house, Christian's house, the farm, probably. So yeah, it'd be Christian's house first.
So you arrive in the evening, a little later than.
It feels a bit late.
Yeah, a little later than study club is. But when you get there, Maria is there, and she has like food warming, and she does like this kind of shh that she's probably done once or twice before. Like maybe she's like, shh, your father is in the study. Shh, your mother, she's still doing this prayer thing. I made food for you.
I say, Maria, your English has got much better.
I know. I've been watching the soaps. The Archers, it's good, yeah?
Yes. German, apparently.
Yeah, I know. It's just stuck in my head. We'll get it right next week. So she has in the kitchen. You're not expected to kind of sit at the main table. She has at the kitchen. Some sort of, it's a nice tea. It's probably got like contraband, like beans and chips and something in it, like that she's probably shouldn't have cooked you, but nobody's going to notice. And she's just puttering around doing the last bit of tidying and that kind of stuff. And she looks at you like sat there, still sort of prim and dressed properly, and she kind of goes, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
There was weird cats today. And some people shouted at me. But it's okay. Because God said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
And she's like, yes, okay, yeah, no, he's okay. And she pats you on the shoulder, and she points at the clock and she says, "I've finished now. Tell your mum I'm back in normal time, yeah?"
Okay, yeah.
And
I can do that.
And she just sort of like leaves through the back kitchen door. And as she's leaving, she kind of goes, "Damn cats, get down." And she comes back in, she gets a brush like from the thing, and she goes she goes back outside, and you can see she's like trying to out of like above up ahead, and she comes back in, she hangs the brush up, and she goes, "Damn cats upstairs on the window, don't leave food out for them. Your mum will be so cross." And she then waves and goes, "Normal time, bye," and leaves.
I just sort of say after her, I didn't leave food out.
And you eat your chips and you.
And I ate my chips, yeah.
Yeah. And what's
apparently I'm a foodie, it would seem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Little podgy Christian.
I like the idea that so my family all has to have breakfast together, clearly, because our schedules don't allow us to have tea together.
Yeah, maybe. It's the only time you ever see your whole family. What's it like at Preston's house?
I imagine I will get home and just immediately, like, there'll be a home-cooked meal that's just like in the oven warming, that my mum's like, "Oh, food's ready, I made your favourite," and it's like turkey twizzlers and stuff.
Yeah.
But classic, as soon as I go in,
German
I will.
Meals.
like just throw my bag on the floor and like verbal diarrhea about cats and Dr. Nikki and robots and like Cash 22 processes, and my mum will pretend that it's all very fascinating, but be like, oh wow, and I'll just be like, and Dr. Nikki said this, and it's got like night vision, and she's like, who, what? And just, yes, son. It's another one of those kind of doesn't really quite know anything I'm talking about, but is pretending to be very enthused.
Oh, so she's super enthused, and she probably like leans back from the living room or the kitchen or wherever it is you're having this really, really like loving moment, and she leans back and she shouts in German to your dad, like, look, Preston's home. Come and say good evening. Come and take interest. He's home. Yeah. And you just hear from like the living room some sort of like, yeah, but I'm watching the football with Bayern Munich and somebody else on. It's 20 minutes till half time kind of thing.
It probably like come up and like look at me like, good day. I'm like, yeah, good, and then go back in again. Like,
yeah, as he opens the fridge, takes out some beer,
beer.
And goes back into the living room.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have this, and you it's a lovely.
Yeah, he's very much got. I like the idea that it's like this, like the American house where there's a den. It's like that's your dad's room.
Yeah.
That's where he goes, and we just don't go in there.
Yeah. and we sort of end like a very contrasting set of families. And that's where we'll end the session. With Tales from the Loop, there are 4 questions because you get XPs. So every 5 XPs you get, you can increase a skill, and you can hoard up to 10 XP before you have to decide what you do with it. You can only increase a skill. You can only spend XP between sessions. So you can't like, I'm gonna roll a sneak roll. I've got 10 XP. Let's up it twice. You have to spend it in between sessions.
Yeah.
Everybody gets 1 XP for taking part. That's just how it goes. And then the next sort of points come from questions. Have you been in trouble because of your problem or relationships with the other characters?
No.
I don't think we had much of that today.
No, I don't think so.
No, I think there might have been. Maybe not. I was going to say Butch sort of taking a moment to leave the weird thing and go back to help Grandad Frank might be
kind of maybe a little bit
like that, but
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's kind of a bit of
an edge case.
Yeah,
I feel like the reason I didn't get beaten up was because I was 11.
maybe so I don't know if anybody got that point.
I don't think my problem came into or get in trouble or anything like that. I think there was I think for Butch, there was a bit where you had to sacrifice the adventure for the money, like that typical thing of Butch being like, oh, responsibility, and having to give up on what he wanted to do for what was right to do.
Yeah, I guess if it's like if I missed out on an opportunity to learn more, then I guess I did.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But I think that's the only one.
Yeah. The third question is, did you use or struggle with your pride? I don't think anybody used their pride or had a kind of issue where we were putting it in jeopardy.
No, I don't think it came up, no.
Did you put yourself at risk for the other kids?
I mean, I talked to the scientist and tried to kind of discern what was going on. I don't know if I would have been at risk if I'd have annoyed her or anything. I don't think
you might have. It could have been a lot of risk.
I thought you put yourself more at risk when you were jumped to have a look in that window. That random window.
Actually, yeah, that was.
I jumped up to find out what the cat was up to.
Yeah. And
that could be risky. Who knows what you could have seen looking in a random window.
And Butch helped with that, and Christian was involved with that. So you
we all kind of did something a bit odd in an alleyway.
Yeah, like the protesters. The protesters is a bit scary for 11.
Yeah, definitely would.
Yeah, you went to try and calm down the protesters as well to try and save Butch's farm. So.
Yeah, so I think we all sort of tick that box.
Yeah.
And did you learn something new? And if you did, what was it?
Cats are spies.
Cats are spies.
Cats are spies. That's what I'm up to on this so far. Cats are spies.
Nice.
Yeah, cats are spies. And Dr. Nikki's really cool.
Dr. Nikki is cool. What about Christian? Are you in the cats are spies? Anything new?
I mean, I think we all learned that, didn't we?
Yes, we did. The cats Cats are spies. Russian spies specifically. I saw Brett say that in chat.
Yes.
Communists.
I saw that too.
Communist cats.
Communist cats.
I can't think of anything else.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think we all learned cats were spies. So you can hoard them. When we get to 5, you can increase a skill. And that...
So we got 3 then. 1 for general, just being existing.
Yeah, taking
2,
part.
2 for the questions.
Yeah.
Cool.
Would I have got an extra one because of the decision thing? Yeah.
Butch has
Yeah.
4. Butch has 4.
Okay.
Butch.
And there we go. Butch. It's just more. It's just bigger than yours, isn't it?
Just slightly older.
Just older,
better.
which is better. That was session 1 of Tales from the Loop. I had a lot of fun. I suddenly realised it was 10 o'clock. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
Better
time
wrap
to
it
stop.
up.
Better wrap this up. Are we free next Tuesday to carry on and find out how communist these cats are?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I shall be
definitely.
there.
Awesome.
Curious to see what it's like in the morning when these robots have supposedly done some work around the farm.
Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
And I got to read a maintenance book.
Oh yeah. you might just have to farm that off to Preston.
Yeah, I'll do your homework for you.
Yeah.
Preston, I don't know what these words mean.
Yeah. I'm gonna click the rain
hit
button,
end.
but I still don't know how it works.